Last time I built this amazing windmill and factory combo that work together to produce various ingredients and combine them, all in order to create unlimited dumplings. Like, this thing is just awesome. We already have so many dumplings and this hasn't been running that long. Also, as you can see, in between episodes, I've done a little bit of terraforming. I added a couple of new trees in between the factory and the windmill and just leveled out the ground a little bit. I am going to fill in the gaps between all of the different buildings with things like pathways and trees, but that is a task for another episode. And yes, I'm gonna put that off as long as possible. Now, I've been really in need of iron the past couple episodes for a couple of reasons. First off, crate components take a lot of iron to make, and so I've been constantly needing to go down to the mines and mine for more iron. And second, I want to incorporate some of these cast iron blocks into my future builds. And as you can see, they take a whole lot of iron to create, along with everything else you need to craft with iron in vanilla. So in today's episode, we're going to create a simple iron farm that I can just access whenever I want on the island. And because we already have so many buildings on the south side of the island, I'm thinking I'm gonna build it over in that direction. No. Oh my gosh, I almost had a heart attack. Okay, so I've been walking around a little bit, just examining the island, and I think right around here will be perfect. I pretty much already have this whole area of the island planned out. So if we just make the iron farm go along like this, we should utilize the entire island space really well. So my plan for this iron farm is to kind of make it look like a quarry or like a actual mine, but we're gonna need to do a whole lot of terraforming in this area. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a way to do this automatically with the create mod, if that's even possible, and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so I've been messing around in a creative test world for a little bit, and I found a way to dig out this entire area. Now, I could obviously use the schematic cannon to build this for me, but what's the fun in that? So we're just gonna go ahead and construct this thing. Okay, so we're just gonna make a little platform like this. We're also going to build up like this, and then place some linear chases blocks. Not like that. Next, we're gonna need to glue the bottom of these. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? That poor llama. We're also going to need to glue these, as we are going to put chests on top of here. And then I also went ahead and made this rope pulley and a sequence gear shift. And you'll see what they do in a sec. We will place our rope pulley there, add a shaft. We're going to have our gear shift like that. We're going to add some chain drives. We'll have a speed controller there. Set this to 42. Place a large water wheel. Place our water. We'll put a large cogwheel right there. Add a lever. We will have our sequence gear shift. We'll have a sticky mechanical piston. Add all of our extension pulls, and now we need to install the conveyor belt that will take this whole thing forward. And now the last thing to do is to add the drills to the bottom of this. Alright, this is looking good. As you can see, I built a little bit over there as well, which we will connect to this. And this whole concept was created by MonkeyFarm, so I'll link his video in the description down below. Okay, so we're gonna edit the sequence gear shift settings. We'll turn this to piston by 3, and then we're gonna go double speed in reverse. So now when we press this button, this should go forward by 3 blocks. If we flip this lever, as you can see, this is going down, and this will start mining into the ground. And then all of the blocks will be picked up and put into this chest. When we're ready, we can just flip this lever again, and the rope pulley will pull up the entire contraption. And as you can see, all of the blocks that I mined went into this chest. Now we're just gonna move it forward and do the whole process over again. Okay, so it's done, and now we're gonna bring it back up. So now if I move this to forward and press this button, then it should start coming backwards. Okay, so now that it is lined up, we're going to connect these 2 platforms just to add some more drills. And now we're going to dig out that little extra portion all the way back. There we go. Now that we have our basic shape down, we're going to need to tear down all of this. Okay, since that's all clear now, it's time to shape out the pit. First, we're going to add a little variation in the ground level. We might need to add a little bit more than this. There we go. And we obviously are not going to have this giant line of cobblestone, so we're just going to remove that as well. Don't mind if I do. Okay, so I think I'm going to have a couple platforms that are made out of dark oak and spruce. Maybe one right there, and another probably over here. This height is probably good enough. So now we're just going to fill in the floor with some spruce slabs and dark oak slabs. We're now going to go ahead and put the copycat panels on top like this, and then place some more logs into the panels, just so that it adds a little bit more of a layer on top. We're then going to place some dark oak fences along the sides like this. I swear it's always raining. Next, I want to add a little more detail down into the pit, and probably make the walls actually fit into the landscape around. So for adding some more detail, we're going to use some sanded cobblestone and sanded mossy cobblestone. And so if we put cobblestone into the mason's workbench, there we go, we can get some sanded cobblestone. 2 stacks should be fine. And then we can do the same thing with mossy cobblestone. I find creepers in the most random places. Okay, so here's everything we're going to need to texture the pit. And as you can see, I made these copycat bites along with copycat steps. And these bites are kind of just like half of the steps. So you can just do a lot more with these bites than you can with the steps. Like for example, you can make a corner piece like that, or you can stack them like that. You can probably see how they're going to be really helpful while texturing. Okay, so we're just going to take some of our sanded cobblestone and just place it in just like that. We'll also add in some andesite and then some mossy sanded cobblestone. And now we're going to go ahead and finish up the walls. Alright, so here we have our pit. Now, as you can see, I did add a ton of detail into these corner bits and just underneath the platforms as well. And just taking a step back, you can really see just how much this fits into the landscape. Now, in a later episode, we are going to transform the rest of this kind of flat and plain area, and then this whole area will fit in even better. But I'm really liking how this turned out. Like, I love just running down through this. And adding the different copycat blocks just helped tie in this entire area. So now that the surrounding area is complete, it's time to actually construct our iron farm. Now we're going to need 2 separate areas for this farm. We're going to need one area that produces cobblestone, and then another area that turns the cobblestone into gravel and then washes that gravel. And as you can see, if we wash this gravel, we get flint and then also iron nuggets. So now you can kind of see how this whole thing is going to work. I'm thinking if we come down here, this is where we're going to have our cobblestone generators. I am going to just dig this area out a little bit more, just so we have a little more space. Okay, so I went ahead and dug out some more area where we're going to have create components. So I think this is going to be our back wall. We're going to have a gearbox and face that up. We're going to have some shafts, another gearbox. We will encase some of these, another gearbox and face it up. Gearbox there, one final gearbox there, and then a speed controller right there, and one over here. We will connect this up. We'll add our cogwheels to both of these speed controllers, add some more gearboxes and shafts. We're going to add a vertical gearbox like that, and then 2 encased chain drives. Next, we're going to install our conveyor belts. There you go, that should be good. We're going to have our millstones right here, and then we'll place funnels going into them. We're then going to have a conveyor belt up here, just like that, a vertical gearbox, and then we're going to have 2 drills going outwards. We We will have signs right there and right there. We're going to have another conveyor belt behind this, just like this. We'll have 2 more drills facing out, and then we'll have cogs connecting into these 2 mills. And then here is where the lava pits will be going. So if I go ahead and waterlog these drills, and so now if we place lava in these top bits, as you can see, the water turned into stone, which then will get mined by the drills. Then the cobblestone will be spat out onto these belts, where they will then be put into these millstones, grinded up into gravel, and then will be transported off into our washing station. Now we just need to build the power source that will go down here, and I'm thinking we're just going to use a lot of water wheels. Because again, we don't have a power plant yet. We're just going to place a lot of water wheels. That should be enough, right? We're going to place 2 vertical gearboxes, just like that. We're going to have a gearbox like that, a vertical gearbox, and I ran out. 1 sec. All right, there we go. We're going to have 1 final vertical gearbox right there. So now once we power this water wheel, then this whole thing should be working. Okay, so I went ahead and built this side power station. This is just going to be on the side of where the house is going to be. And I thought the use of these metal girders and dark oak fence gates looked really well surrounding these water wheels. And so now if we just build up a couple and then go out like this, now we can hang these lanterns and it'll all be eventually connected up to the house. And this will also be able to supply us with a little bit of power for what is going on the inside. So now we're just going to go ahead and build up the shape of the wall. We're also just going to go ahead and texture this a little bit as we go along. Okay, I think this should be plenty big enough for what we're going to have inside. And then that should be a good enough height for the brick section. Okay, yep, that should be good enough. So now I want to start transitioning from the brick to different types of spruce planks. And to do that, we're going to use reinforced dark oak logs and spruce logs. And I saw this in a Mr. Beardstone video, and I thought it looked really good. Okay, so if we just mix in the dark oak and the spruce, just alternating every once in a while, then I think this should look really good. Okay, I'm actually quite liking that. Ooh, and with the spruce planks and the metal girder, that actually looks really good. We do need to add some more detail to the walls though. All right, we have the hay bales and crates down. You know what? This isn't looking actually too bad. I do want to add a little bit more detail to the side of the walls though. So to do that, we're going to be utilizing copycat panels and these copycat layers. And what these layers are, they're just a thinner version of these panels. So we're just going to place them like this, add a thinner layer, and then go back to the panels. Now just to add even more detail, we're going to add some glow lichen, just in some random places like this. Yep, that added a whole lot more detail to the sides. So for the roof, I think we're going to do the same thing we did on the dumpling farm and the house. Maybe have like a line of deep slate and then have that color palette of blocks again, just so it matches with everything. We're just going to have a sloped incline like this. We will have it on the other side as well. All right, I'm liking the shape. Now we just have to go ahead and fill in the roof. Okay, this is actually looking really good. However, I think we are going to add a little bit more detail with copycat steps. Okay, yeah, that added a whole lot more depth to the roof. Okay, so I went ahead and added these hanging lights to the outside of the building, and now I think the outside is just about done. Now it's time to go ahead and install all of the create components. And as you can see, I left holes in the walls. Actually, that kind of looks like a face. We're going to have a speed controller there, connect that up. We'll set this to 60 on the bottom. We'll add a large cog and a shaft. Gearbox, 3 more gearboxes. We will connect them up. Andesite casing. We will have 3 more gearboxes. Make that one a vertical. Same with this. Shafts. We'll have encased chain drives, an encased fan, 4 more chain drives. We'll have a sign and our water bucket. We will have a few barrels, and then we will have our conveyor belts. One right there, and then another right there. We're going to have some more andesite casings, a few barrels. We're going to have funnels connected to them, and then 2 more funnels going into these barrels. Okay, so I went ahead and made a list filter, and what I can do if I put an iron nugget and flint in, have this on allow, and then hit confirm, and then I put this list in the filter slot. Now whenever the gravel reaches the end, it won't enter this barrel unless it turns into either flint or an iron nugget. All right, so we're gonna have 2 more gearboxes, shaft there, a chute there. This will be a conveyor belt, another barrel there, funnel going out, another chute with a funnel, multiple more gearboxes, and then another conveyor belt. We're going to have multiple chain drives, some more over here. Our drills will be right here. And right there, we will have 2 more signs. Our mill will be right there with a funnel connecting to it. We will have a vertical gearbox and then lots of cogs going around like this. We'll have another vertical gearbox, another conveyor belt, and then we'll have another barrel and funnel. All right, so now this whole thing should be pretty much done. We just need to install a power source. And I think I'm just gonna do it down here below. There we go. I think 4 water wheels will be enough. We're going to have a speed controller right there. We will set this to the max on the bottom. We'll place a large cogwheel and then 3 gearboxes. And then this one we will face up. And then we just need to connect the shafts to the cogs. I'm 1 short. There we go. Now all we need to do is power these water wheels. And there we go. That's all spinning. If I go to the top, then the millstone's working. We will go ahead and waterlog these drills. We will go ahead and get this spinning. There we go. All of this should be working. Yep, everything up here is spinning. So now we just need a way to connect the interior to the washer down here. And I'm thinking I can just use a conveyor belt supported by these chutes to make something look fairly decent. We're going to have 2 shafts there. We'll have a conveyor belt there and 1 over here. And then we'll go ahead and connect these conveyor belts down here and then over on this side as well. We're just going to make some spruce trap doors and then place them around all like this. And then we're going to install a chute line that runs all along the conveyor belt. And then we will have another line going up on this side as well. And we'll have 1 more line going in the middle. All right, we're gonna get these water wheels going. There we go, they're being mined. The gravel's going up. And we come in here and yep, the gravel's being washed. And we should, yep, we have flint and we have iron nuggets. Now to make it even faster, we're going to activate these up top. Now this stone will be turning into gravel. And then this should also, yep, is being washed and then turning into flint and iron nuggets. Now the last thing I need to do is make the inventory. So we're just going to have an inventory connector there and then a storage terminal. And there we go. We can see how many iron nuggets and flint we have. Now we have a fully functioning iron farm. This is actually going to help me so much. And with the building combined with the quarry, this actually looks so good. There's just so much detail in this thing. And I think it fits really well with the island. It is pretty compact, but we're not going to be in here too much, so it's fine. Sadly, that is going to be it for today. If you did watch the end, thank you so very much. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and I appreciate you watching to the very end. And if you are here, why don't you hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up button? I mean, you watched to the very end, so you obviously liked it. And it'd also help out the channel. Alright, well again, if you did watch the end, thank you so very much. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.